Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Good evening, sports fans around this big, beautiful blue marble we call Earth in whatever city you may live in. Welcome to episode 111 of the VWU Sports Podcast. I am, of course, one of the hosts, the owner and founder of the VWU Sports Podcast. I am, of course, the man who runs the bar, Mr. Jacob B. I'm being joined, as always, by my barkeeps, Mr. Carter. Brandon will be here soon. Shortly, but he's wake a little woken, sleep schedules being all that. But he'll be joined as always with our lovely regulars, Jose and Coach. Gentlemen, we got ourselves a lot to talk about. But before we get towards what we need to talk about, we're going to start off with the NBA because All-Star Weekend is catching up, fellas.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I know, but I just want to start by saying I know one guy that won't be able to be there, Joe Embiid, and I got the story. Joe Embiid is going to be out for at least 4 weeks after undergoing a knee procedure this morning.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joe Embiid is going to miss out on All-Star Extravaganza in Indiana. He is going under the knife this morning to do a knee procedure. It is sad to see the big star in Philly to go on the knife, but as is with Embiid, happens. When you're playing 82 games, injuries is going to happen.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and read this story from ESPN. ESPN says that Philadelphia 76ers star Joel Embiid underwent a left knee procedure on Tuesday morning and will be re-evaluated in approximately 4 weeks, the team announced. The next few weeks of recovery and rehab will be paramount, but there's belief that the door remains open for Embiid's return in the regular season. Embiid, the reigning MVP, has sustained injuries to both knees in his career, and this one comes at an inopportune time for him and the Sixers. The All-Star Center is leading the NBA in scoring with 35.3 points a game and was on pace to join Wilt Chamberlain as the only other player to average at least 35 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in the season. He's also on pace to become only the second player, Chamberlain in 1961-62, to average at least 1 point per minute played. I can get that story later.
That is some rough timing for Mr. Embiid. It's even worse timing for him and the Sixers because if I take a look at the standings in the Atlantic Division, the Sixers are still in third place, right behind the Knicks and the Celtics. They are 1.5 games right behind the Knicks in the Atlantic Division. That is some rough timing there for Mr. Embiid to have for his left knee to give way.
And let me just point this out. And this is why I know many people, especially NBA, have to open their eyes and realize is that, the body can't handle 82 games like it used to.
No.
And eventually, you asking a player to play 82 straight games, you're asking for trouble.
With constant traveling across the country and just constant running and everything, just going full throttle. The body can go that hard 24/7 for 82 straight games. It's going to get broken down, and everybody here in the bar feels so sorry for Joel, and hopefully this injury is not as big as we hope it is, and hopefully make a strong recovery and bounce back as soon as possible and get back on the horse and get back the momentum for the 76ers because they were going so well for them,
Well, let me bring this up, Jacob. The 76ers have lost 6 of their past 7 games, and they have fallen to 5th in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
And also, Embiid will fall well short of the league's 65 game minimum to earn postseason awards. He
That's not
stuck at 34 games.
basically Embiid was one of their key players to helping them get themselves a good chance of making it to the postseason. So if they need to find a way to start bouncing back and fast,
Yeah,
they don't even have a chance to make it to the dance make it to the dance.
I think the question
Don't even
also
say
has
just the process. Don't even say just the process because sorry about that, was Eden.
Mm.
Sorry about that. Don't even say just the process because we all know that the process ain't working.
Well,
No.
here's the thing. Let me
They start going
let me bring
long
this
for it.
up. Let me bring this up because here's something to consider. Because the trade deadline is coming up. So with the trade deadline coming up on Thursday, you have to wonder, are the 76ers going to be doing any wheeling or dealing just to stay afloat?
That
I don't.
that's
Well,
like
hmm,
Uh,
I don't know.
that's a
That's
big
something to
question
say.
some
because
assets like
yeah.
stars. That's not that young stars, some draft picks. Do them
Mhm.
maybe get some stars that can help them get back on the good groove and maybe get a chance back into the fight for the Eastern Conference.
Well, they have to do something, and they better do something quickly because that Eastern Conference is really tough right now. It's a dog
Oh,
eat dog
yeah, it is.
league.
It is a. It is a stacked conference to say the least. When you got heavy hitters going on so far. Um,
Hmm.
as we take a look at the outstandings in the Eastern Conference, basically it is a dogfight in the conference. Basically, you got a three horse race for the top of the East right now. For the top of the East, Boston still has the top of the has the one seed, but right now, get this: Cleveland, Milwaukee, and New York are catching up to them. Okay,
Hmm.
Cleveland and Milwaukee are tied for the second seed with 5 games right behind Boston. Meanwhile, Higgins Knickerbockers are right behind them by 1 game. 1 game.
Now, speaking of Milwaukee, now we know we had the All Star game coming up in about 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not going to believe who's going to be the head coach of the Eastern Conference All Star team.
Is it a
Who's saying?
joke?
And I'm dead serious. Doc Rivers.
Yep, I'm out.
I
Oh,
mean, now,
they really follow they really
Man,
follow
I'm out.
the philosophy of insanity. They cannot. They think that they keep doing the same stupid shit over and over and
You
over and
tag me
over and
back
over and
in.
over and over and over
let,
and
let,
over.
let, let me explain why Doc Rivers is going to coach the Eastern Conference All Stars because apparently there's a rule that says if usually the team with the best record in the conference, their head coach will coach the All Star team. That conference's All Star team. Boston, Boston's head coach, I forgot his name. He coached the Eastern Conference All Star team last season.
So
So
they're
since he coached it
that's
last
Joe
season,
Mazzulla is his name.
yeah. So since he coached it last season, he's not eligible to coach it this
Yeah.
season.
Why did you
So
pick?
which means
Why did they have to pick the most shittiest coach? Because the Milwaukee Bucks this season were
you
were,
you
were supposed to
let
be
me
good.
finish.
Them
Let me
Bucks. Hold
finish.
on,
Now,
Cody.
at the rest
normally,
of us.
now if Adrian Griffin was still the head coach of the Bucks, then of course naturally this
It
would
would-
be his job. But since the Bucks fired him and put Doc Rivers in that spot,
It's
Doc
Doc.
Rivers is his job now.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
The Bucks
Why
made a
not take?
fucking stupid mistake.
No, I was about to ask, right? Because
Shocking.
since Missoula coached last year's All Star team, why didn't they just go for Cleveland and JB Bickerstaff?
Well,
That's you know
the
what? That's
reason
a
is
good.
simple. That is because, like you said, of the ruling of the record. Since Boston's head coach can't do it, it's got to go to the second best. And unfortunately, Milwaukee has the second best record, even though they are currently quote unquote tied with Cleveland. They have a better win percentage than Cleveland by 1 win.
Hmm.
1 win.
So
One and
that's
four.
why Doc Rivers is going to be the coach of the Eastern Conference All Stars. Believe me, even he says it doesn't make any sense to him.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. and it doesn't make sense at all. But unfortunately, rules are rules.
Mhm.
And before we get before we get to All-Star break, because that is 2 weeks away, let's run down what we got tonight, because we got good slate tonight. Tonight coming up. In fact, coming up at 7:00. In fact, under an hour. I know Hoosier Man's going to be excited because at 7:00 tip off at the field at the farmhouse. It is the Pacers playing host to the Rockets of Houston.
Yeah, the
You
game
should
is
be-
at the field house.
Let me just say this. I should be happy, but the Pacers lost 3 games, and we only won 1 game, and we beat the fucking Charlotte Hornets.
Well, this could be a good
Anybody, I'm about to tell you.
for the All-Star break.
Yeah, I'm about to tell you. Anybody can be the Charlotte Hornets. I'm pretty sure if all 5 of us can team together, we could beat Charlotte.
Pacers couldn't beat 3 playoff teams.
Well,
Cody.
yeah, because
but-
they're good. That's a
Cody,
good test for the
kidding about-
Pacers. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
If you can beat a playoff team, then we'll
Yeah.
talk about the Pacers playoff conversation. But
yeah.
since they lost 3 straight to
Cody,
3 playoff teams, it would
you-
make sense.
Tony, I don't know why you're still freaking out, because you're still in a good race for the Central Division, even though because you're 5.5 under the leaders, Milwaukee and Cleveland, who are tied for the top spot of the Central Division. So calm the F down.
Mm-hmm. Also, we got the Battle of the Sunshine State this evening. We got the Magic and the Heat.
Yep, that'll be over at the Miami Arena. I look, sue me or not, I'm still calling it the Miami Arena because I can't get sponsors right any day of the week.
We understand.
Yeah, but it is the Battle of the Sunshine State, Miami and Orlando. That could be a good one right there.
I'll say this much: New York is going to get busy because it's 7:30. Not only that, Garden's going to get filled, also the Barclays Center, as well as Brooklyn playing host to Dallas, while the Knicks got the Grizzlies to deal with.
You know what?
The Grizzlies are
Let me say
18
something
and
real quick.
32.
Let me say something real
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
Because I wish the Nets the best of luck. You got Luka
Doncic.
The Joker.
Doncic coming to town. No,
Yeah.
not
No,
him.
that's Jokic, you idiot.
That's Jokic.
Okay, yeah.
You
I'm saying is-
drunken Hoosier.
Dumbasses. Hey, dumbasses, I'm saying his fucking nickname. Shut the fuck up.
No, you're
That's-
getting that confused. You got him confused with the guy in Denver.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah,
Look at
It's
this
gonna-
nickname.
it's gonna be a tough night for the Nets because they're taking on the Mavericks and Luka Doncic.
You almost called him the Joker.
I almost did, but I stopped. And Luka Doncic, but for the Knicks, there could
Luka
be an
Magic.
but it might not if the Grizzlies have a good night against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden.
Good luck.
The Grizzlies are 18 and 32. The Knicks should win. I put should because it's it's the NBA. Anything can happen.
Mhm. Yeah, anything can happen
But-
on that court.
We had to wait. We just had to wait and see.
Mhm.
And then at 8:00 at the Madhouse, known as the United Center, the Bulls. We've taken on the top spot in the West, known as the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Well, Timberwolves are looking really damn good so far. Let's see if they
Mhm.
can
Oh,
keep
most
it up.
definitely. They are the team that you got to be careful of in the West. Most definitely,
But
they got
always
they
must
got-
always.
the
Yep.
fastest
Sorry.
hand.
Yep. But I've said this time and time again. And I cannot stress this enough. Don't catch fire too early.
You're right. Timing is everything in sports, honestly. And
No.
speaking of a team
Mhm.
that's catching that could flame out at the worst possible time, another team who is tied with the Timberwolves in the West, the Thunder of OKC, will be heading to Salt Lake City to take on the Joker and the Jet. I mean, not the Joker.
No.
Good thing I caught myself. To take on the
Good job.
Jazz of Utah take on the Jazz of Utah.
They're a little under 500 right now. Is the Jazz?
Barely 500, but the Thunder needs this
Sorry,
win.
Mark.
And they need Minnesota to choke out to the Bulls to take the top spot in the West.
Mm-hmm. And then we
I
got
think-
the main event. We got the
Yeah.
Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns.
This one is a main event you want to tune in on TNT because you got the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks. Both teams are looking to basically get their stock much needed improvements in both their respective conferences.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't sleep on the Suns. That's just me, though.
Oh no, most definitely. Like I said, the Suns are just on the in the 6th seed in the Western Conference. A win here tonight could definitely help them out in moving up in the Western Conference. Meanwhile, Milwaukee, like I said, tied with Cleveland for the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. A win here tonight could definitely get them in the hunt for the second slot in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically
Very
tonight,
scary sight.
all-
I'm gonna put that with you.
aside from a few games, you are basically spoiled for choice on some great action here tonight on the courts.
Absolutely. I think it's gonna be a huge night tonight. Better keep your eyes
Absolutely.
peeled.
Oh, most
It's gonna be.
I think that
guys,
this is
if
be
you
like
got
a pick
local
the poison type of shit here, right?
you
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Mm.
if you got your local teams on, you got your local stations set up, especially including our local Hoosier man. Best believe, make sure you got your channels favored up and be ready to watch some amazing action on the court.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Now then,
Alrighty. So,
let's go
can I
ahead and
take this
shift
transition
focus.
now?
Hold on. Let's go ahead and shift focus as we head on up to the college.
I was about to
Wait,
take that transition, but I
yeah. If you love upsets, this was the weekend for you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Our resident chaos man, Mr. Jose Blanco, unfortunately is filled to the brim with chaos. But here's the thing: that doesn't mean the rest of the country's not full.
No, we have some upsets over the weekend, and we had huge upset last night. So
Yeah.
let's start off with Saturday, gentlemen. This past Saturday, we saw a huge upset where Kansas, the number 8 team in the country, beat the then number 4 team, Houston, 78-65.
Ooh,
Now we'll
that is
get hold on, Jacob. We'll get to Kansas later because they themselves. We'll get to that later. Now also speaking of upsets, Baylor beat Iowa State 70-68.
Ooh,
yeah,
must have
absolutely.
been of them.
I
Yeah.
think this would make. I think this one will make Jacob a bit sad, but not too much. Those damn Longhorns from Texas went that hosted the TCU Horned Frogs and whooped their asses by 11 points.
Actually, Jose Miguel, it's the opposite. TCU's hosting the Longhorns.
No,
Yeah, it's
I'm talking about Friday. I'm talking about Saturday, February 3rd.
Longhorns of
Yeah.
Texas Christian.
That's what I
And-
said. Texas hosted the fucking the
No,
Horned
TCU
Frogs.
was the home team. TCU
Yeah.
was the home team.
and came out having themselves some grilled frogs because they took the
Either
dub.
way, it was a battle of the Lone Stars. So shut up.
Yeah,
Now also,
Talking about upsets.
frog legs. I'll tell you that.
Third ranked Sooners go down to the hands of UCF 74-63.
Ow!
I got another one for you. Cincinnati beat the number 15 team in the country, Texas Tech, over the weekend, 75-72.
Man, basically,
By
Austin
3.
was the only team that came out scot free.
Yeah, also San Diego State beat the number 17 team in the country, Utah State, 81-67.
Good on San Diego State. Good for you.
Mm-hmm. So, and also, I mean, we had some, and like I said, we did have an upset last night. Those same Kansas Jayhawks, who are now the number 4 team in the country, lost to Kansas State last night in overtime,
Oh, that hurts.
75-70.
One minute you get the uppercut on Houston. Next minute you get uppercutted by your in-state rivals. Ow!
Pure ow.
You want to talk about a shaving upset? Creighton went down to Butler last Friday, 99-98.
You can. Ow! That is a shaving upset. That feels like that was scripted. I swear. I feel like we need to watch our backs next time. Like, hey, are there any who's watching this?
Can one of you steal the NCAA script, please?
Yeah,
I think here's the
take a look.
But I think here's the thing, and like we said, we're in February now,
We started in February, man, and we're still, and we haven't even we already started February, and the mayhem hasn't even stopped. It's just kicking.
It's not even March yet. Come on.
Yeah,
I think the
we
question.
got to the halfway mark, and they already added some more gas to the fire.
I think the question has to be asked.
Yep.
How much more chaos can you take? I
Yeah.
mean,
Let's take a look at the top 10. So let's take a look at the top 25 as we take a look at the polls, which was just released
So-
yesterday from the AP top 25. Still at number 1, the reigning champion Huskies of UConn, still holding the top spot, even though they are 20-2 on the season, still holding the top spot. Meanwhile, the Boilermakers of Purdue holding in at number 2 in the nation, even though they got a better record at 21-2. The voters still say the Huskies still need the top spot. But let's take a look at the shakeups so far. The Tar Heels of UNC takes number 3. And even though they got beaten by their in-state rivals, the Jayhawks of Kansas still hold number 4. But that's going to change next week after they got beat last night by their in-state rivals.
mm-hmm.
And then at number 5, the Cougars of Houston holds in the number 5. Number 5, 19-3 on the season. At number 6, good Rocket Top. Woo! The Volunteers of Tennessee at number 6. At number 7, the Golden Eagles of Marquette University. Congratulations on cracking the top 10. At number 8, the Wildcats of Arizona. Nice job. At number 9, another NC State, another NC College, the Blue Devils of Duke. At number 9. And cracking at number 10, the Illinois, I can't get their name.
Alumni.
The alumni.
The alumni of Illinois cracking the top 10. Nice job, honestly. Congratulations.
Now, hold on, Jacob, for a second, because if I just want to point to,
So number 15 is South Carolina.
yeah, you know what? Some of these teams that's left here in the top 25, you're kind of surprised that they're there. We saw how Kentucky took a tumble after losing to Tennessee over the weekend.
Yeah,
and
they're 17th in the nation now, even though
Kentucky's going to be facing Vanderbilt tonight.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
we have
late tonight after we continue talking about the top 25.
absolutely we got Florida Atlantic. They're back in the top 25. They're at number 20.
They
With
just
an 18-4 record.
They just cracked the top 20 with the top 20. Texas Tech, they just barely got into the top 25, 24th in the nation. 24th in the nation, honestly, which is good for them, honestly.
That's 20. So you talk about Texas Tech, they're 23rd.
Yeah, I said San Diego State. What are you on about?
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, what are you on about?
I was talking about the top 25.
Yeah,
here,
safe
right?
to say once we get to next week's polls, safe to say we're going to see a massive shakeup in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
100%. And I could see.
You guys might run down the games that's happening.
Hold on, let's let Jose finish, and then we'll run down the slate.
All right.
San Diego State has taken the second to last seeding in the AP top 25.
Yep.
TCU is out of the top 20. When do you think New Mexico might lose that last seeding to TCU or to any other team for that matter? But more pointing to TCU because they've been there.
Keep in mind, they're facing Wyoming tonight, so
Here's the thing to consider, because New Mexico, San Diego State, they are in the same conference, the Mountain West.
Yep.
And you know what? There's competition all across the board. I mean,
most definitely. This season has been nothing short of just competition, not just in the Power 5, but all throughout men's college basketball. Honestly,
absolutely.
And
you know what? Even you have to look at the Ivy League and notice what's going on between Cornell and Yale, and the way how those teams are doing.
Mm-hmm. Honestly,
you know,
it should open the eyes, honestly, to not only the AP top 25, but everybody else that shows that there's more to it than just the traditional top Power 5 that we know. Like, there's many other conferences that can just give you that much talent in college basketball. You know,
I tell you what, Jacob. I know who better be watching the tournament committee that has to set up the brackets for March Madness.
Oh, most definitely. They are going to have themselves a rough time this season with how much talent that's been going on with all these amazing colleges in this nation.
100%, 100%. All right,
Absolutely.
so we're going to run down the schedule here, and as per usual, we're going to be following the AP top 25.
Coming up tonight, in fact, tip-off in just under 5 minutes in South Carolina.
7,
Gamecocks
8,
in South Carolina, 15th nation. We're playing host to Carter's Ole Miss Rebels.
You know something? Let me say something real quick because Ole Miss is having a good season so far. It's not easy playing on the road, especially not easy playing on the road in the SEC. But they're
No.
making the best of it. So,
This is gonna be a good night. This could be a good night to say the least. Can Ole Miss
Absolutely.
pull an upset out of their Rebel hat against the Gamecocks?
This
South
one I'm actually interested in.
Carolina,
This is the
tonight
one
on
I'm actually.
tip off in about
Sorry
5 minutes.
go ahead, Jose.
Which game are you interested?
Yeah. Then
Ooh, you ready for this?
at
Ready?
7
I
o'clock.
think I know Jacob's eyeing this one too.
Then starting off at 7 with the 7 o'clock game, starting off on ESPN2, the 5th ranked Cougars of Houston will be playing host to the Cowboys of Oklahoma State.
Ooh, that's gonna be good.
Good
But
one.
I think this one here is gonna be very. It's gonna be. This one is gonna have eyes everywhere. Those Clemson Tigers are gonna go travel down to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, to take on the 3rd-ranked Tar Heels.
You know something? Those Tar Heels, especially. Let me just say this: those Tar Heels, especially how they handled Duke over the weekend. You got to give Coach Hubie Davis credit. He's doing a good job with these Tar Heels,
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
and he has them focused on winning the tournament. They know they got to get through the ACC first, so and they're doing a good job with the competition.
He's basically reinvigorated those Tar Heels and basically sharpened up those horns over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and you know what? He's following the same footsteps that Roy Williams did. So you know that's saying something.
When you're seeing senses of deja vu with another Tar Heel legend, you know.
Absolutely. We also have coming up this evening.
Coming up
We
at,
got. I was about to say we have coming up this evening. We got Oklahoma State and
We just talked about that one.
Yep, talk about yeah, but yeah. This upcoming game coming up with the 8 o'clock games. This upcoming game right here might sneak under the radar, but this could be a game that might steal the night. It's the Sooners of Oklahoma playing host to the 21st ranked Cougars of Brigham Young. Both teams are nearly the same record with Brigham Young 16-5, while Oklahoma is 16-6. That might be a game where both teams are going to be at their nastiest.
That's gonna be a good game.
Okay.
Now, also, don't count out the Atlantic 10 Conference. There's a big game going on over there. We got Dayton. They're going to play against St. Joseph's.
The 18 ranked
you'll be seeing that
Flyers. Yeah.
On CBS Sports.
Speaking of ranked, right? We did talk about those Longhorns. They'll be taking on the 14th ranked Iowa State. Actually, they'll be hosting.
Yeah,
They'll
be playing host to the Cyclones of Iowa State, who are 14th in the nation.
Also, do you believe in heavyweight bouts?
Yes.
Smell one.
Well, how about this one for you? Those Bulldogs of Butler will be taking on the reigning champions, the Yukon Huskies, at home. That'd be
This
Yukon.
This game is going to be at the XL Center in Hartford.
That's going to be a good one. 8:30 on FS1. That might be the game you want to keep your eyes on. Butler and Yukon locking horns on FS1.
More like blocking fangs, but man, who's counting?
But you get what I mean. Yeah, I can smell it. Anyways, another game at 8:30. The Commodores of Vanderbilt will be playing host to the Wildcats of Kentucky over in the SEC Network.
I got a question. Because this is, I mean, y'all seen, Vanderbilt's home court.
Yeah.
And especially how it's designed, like it's the floor is elevated a little bit. Like I said, the floor is elevated, and you got the coaches like instead,
playing on the staircase.
They're standing, but like I said, the floor is elevated. The player comes to the game, they have to step over onto the court. I mean, that's
on the staircase.
Design. But also, Jerry Stackhouse is holding his own. They're 1-7 in the SEC tough conference. Kentucky, they're pissed off after losing to Tennessee over the weekend.
Okay. Actually, there's actually a reason why their court is like that. It's actually as a compromise because the court was the place they're playing at is built only to hold about 8,000 students.
Yeah,
and it wasn't really adaptable for other uses. So the gymnasium floor was built up above the surroundings as more in nature of a stage.
Yeah.
that's why it's like that. It's not because they're trying to fool other teams. It's kind of more of like a compromise to where they're playing at.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's more like, okay, we'll just have to adapt to our surroundings.
Mm.
Looks like it's built on a tiny little hill.
It's kind of like that because of of how their gym is kind of built like. It's a small gym. They're only, like they say, they only can hold up to 8,000 students. So they're kind of
Also, we have tonight. Oh boy, we got a Texas showdown over in Waco between Texas
Oh,
Tech
boy.
and Baylor.
You talk about heavyweight. You talk about a heavyweight fight between UConn and Butler. I knew I smelled something. It's Baylor and Texas Tech, a ranked showdown in Waco.
Oh yeah. 23rd rank against 13 rank.
Record at 16-5 over on ESPN at 9:00.
Yeah, better check that game out. Also, we got Nevada. They're gonna do battle against Utah State.
Oh, and then we forgot this one at 7:30. The Cowboys of Wyoming. We're playing host to the Lobos of New Mexico. 25th ranked in the nation. Can the Cowboys get out of Wyoming with a W and stay in the top 25?
If we know anything about Cowboys, don't get your hopes up because no matter what, they're gonna blow it in the end.
I seriously doubt that Wyoming is like Dallas. I seriously doubt that.
Watch me be right. I promise you. I promise you, this clip is gonna be aging so goddamn badly.
Oh my god! And coming up, San Diego State is going to be playing against the Air Force.
Yeah, I don't think this one should count as a main event matchup, but you never know what could happen.
Butler, UConn, or Texas Tech and Baylor would have been better for that 10:30 p.m. slot.
Yeah, but
it's the schedule.
Considering the fact it's in the East Coast, I can understand why. If you really want a main event matchup, watch either the UConn and Butler match or maybe the Texas Tech and Baylor matchups because those two are your heavyweight fights.
Absolutely.
Also,
I guess you could consider Clemson and North Carolina the appetizer before your meal coming up.
Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And basically pick any of the other ones to be in the main card. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get in
Also,
there,
Jacob,
Brandon.
good luck tomorrow because your LSU Tigers going to be facing the 6th ranked Volunteers tomorrow night.
It's gonna be a long night for somebody.
We're fucked.
Yeah, let's go to the women.
Let's do that quick. Let's do that quick before Jacob actually sheds a tear.
Let's talk about the ladies for a bit here, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll it.
Now, I think that for the women, and it wasn't too much on the upset side, except a team did get upset over the weekend. That was number 2 Kansas State. They lost to the number 12 Texas, 61-54.
Ooh, that had to hurt.
Mm-hmm. And Jacob, like as if you should be smiling. Your Bayou Bengals are back on the winning side, beating Florida by 40, 106-66. I mean, I think overall, though, you look on the women's side. I mean, there was some good, tough action.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw, but last week during the final day of January, Oklahoma just shocked everybody by taking down the second-ranked Kansas State on the women's side.
Yeah, we did talk about that actually, and I'm taking a look at the rankings. My Tigers are out of the top 10. Out of top 10, we are 13th in the nation. But honestly, that just adds more fuel to the fire to us. Okay?
Absolutely.
And
let me go to the top 10. Hold on. Okay, let me go to the top 10 real quick. We got South Carolina 21-0, number 1. Iowa is number 2, back at number 2, with a 21-2 record. I tell you what, Iowa with Caitlin Clark closing in on that historic points mark. Hey, this team is really doing well.
Doing something over there in the Midwest. And then number 3, the Lady Wolf Pack taking in the 3rd slot in the third of the nation with a 20-2 record over an NC State.
Mm-hmm. Number 4 is Colorado, the Lady Buffaloes with a 19-3 record.
Nice to see Colorado actually have a team they can be proud of.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Absolutely.
the Lady Buckeyes takes the 5th slot. Honestly, they're tied with their same record as Colorado, but the points actually separate them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
6 is Stanford, and they're the most winningest coach ever, Tyra Vandermeer. They're number 6.
Number 7, the Longhorns of Texas takes number 7 in the nation with 20 at a 20 record of 21-3. Number 8, Kansas State after taking that massive upset to the jaw, dropped 6 slots to the eighth position in the rankings.
Absolutely. And then you got number 9 and number 10, where it's going to be a Cali affair. UCLA is number 9 with a 17-4 record, and USC is number 10 with a 16-4 record.
Somewhere I know our man on the East Coast, on the West Coast, Mr. Ray, is smiling knowing that his Lady Trojans is in the top 10.
Don't forget
Mhm.
about Matt, though. He's a UCLA person.
But I know
Now,
he's above Ray in the rankings.
now, we only have 2 ranked games on the women's side tonight. Clemson travels to Cincinnati to play against Xavier, the Musketeers.
both
Oh,
games
yeah.
are coming up in about half an hour. Like you said, Xavier playing host to the Blue Jays of Creighton, and also the Mountaineers of West Virginia, Country Roads, is going to be playing host to the Lady Raiders of Texas Tech.
Yeah,
Sounds like
22nd
some.
ranked.
That's what I say. Sounds like someone got John Denver on the brain.
But nonetheless, as we always say, women's college basketball can go toe to toe with the men. Sure, they don't got the flash of the men with the big jams and all that crap. But as we always say, women's basketball is all about consistency. Okay, and it shows. With Iowa showing that they can play just as hard. North Carolina State with their head coach becoming one of the winningest head coaches in D1 history. Colorado stepping up to the plate, and many other great colleges as well. It just proves that once again, do not sleep on the ladies on the court. Okay, we always say that, don't sleep on the. Okay, just because they don't give you the flash and the hot dog and everything in between doesn't mean you will not get great action. Okay, we are firm supporters of Title IX, and we are firm supporters in great stuff, and what we see on the courts proves it.
Absolutely. Now then, let's go ahead and shift focus, Jimmy. Let's head out to the ice, and I have some news.
Ooh.
Next year's Winter Classic is going to Chicago.
Oh wait, where are they going? Are they going to Wrigley Field or are they going to Soldier Field?
Wrigley Field.
Oh, they're going to the friendly confines.
Yes, this is from ESPN. It says the Chicago Blackhawks will host the 2025 NHL Winter Classic at Wrigley Field. A league source confirmed Tuesday. Their opponents will be the St. Louis Blues.
Chicago and St. Louis in the friendly confines. Let's forget, Chicago and St. Louis have history of their own.
Okay, that's fair. But I was about to play a snoring sound effect because knowing next year they're gonna have pretty bad records. You could probably see where I'm going.
Now, the NHL played at Wrigley Field before, back in 2009 when it was the Blackhawks against the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, that was a 6 matchup. Good idea.
Back then, I was about to say, back then.
This one actually might bring a little bit more because it may not be original 6, but there's rivalry to it. St. Louis and Chicago don't like each other.
I was about to say, Jacob, back then, 2009, both the Red Wings and the Blackhawks, they were good teams back then.
They were. But know this. This might be. But know this. This could even be more. This one could be a good one because even though they might not be good, the history factor between St. Louis and Chicago might help bring in fans. And the fact they're going to be doing at one of the oldest stadiums in the country, Wrigley Field, which has been there since 1917 or wait, something like that. since the
1914.
Yeah.
14, over 100, basically 110 years, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo.
Okay, 110 years, and that place might not maybe be sold out, but I'm expecting that place to maybe have. Hopefully, when we get to see the design for next year, I hope they go for like a rustic, old school, beautiful design. Because
The capacity for Wrigley Field is 41,649. They almost filled it up in 1948 with 47,171 when they took on the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
this, from what we saw when they did the Winter Classic for Seattle and Vegas. Okay, when they did like the whole fisherman stuff,
Yeah.
Yes.
what can they do for when they go to Seattle, when they go to Chicago? If they
You
go,
know what? I could see this gonna sound kind of funny, but I could see the Blackhawks coming in as the Blues Brothers.
maybe the Blues Brothers, or maybe they can go old school and like have like really old school attires. You know what I mean? Like really
Mhm.
go back to the old days.
Yeah, or something like that. They probably might do the Blues Brothers for St. Louis.
Probably, but
Or
find out.
hold on. They could go for the Chicago outfit, the Chicago Mob.
True, that'd be a good idea because Chicago was one of the many legendary outfits of the mob. I mean, let's forget Al Capone and all them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, but I highly doubt they're going to fully, embrace the mob.
I
Uh,
I mean, they still talk
I
about
mean,
it.
it shows the dark side of Chicago.
yeah,
I mean,
good point.
they still talk about it today, especially if you go to Southside.
That is true.
And
Also, we have a firing.
get back to the NHL here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we have a firing. The
Yeah,
Kings.
somebody got the pink slip.
Yeah, the Kings
Yep.
fired Todd McLennan.
Yeah, gee, I wonder why, because that dude did not help the Kings in any way, shape, or form.
No, well, here's the thing, and what happened was he's simple. The Kings, first of all, they were 3-8-6 in their past 17 games. 3-8-6.
How the hell do you do that?
That is
I mean,
just wrong. That's just sad.
yeah.
That is
So,
just bad.
and the Kings, they do hold the first wild card spot in the Western Conference, but they had to do something. They
Yeah,
had to do something because that January was just awful.
I was just
Jim
I
Hiller
was about
is
to
the interim
say.
coach for Los Angeles.
I'll check that out 1 minute.
So
Yeah.
But-
So yeah.
Hampton Lee.
Aside from that dude getting the axe he's been so rightfully deserved. Over the past weekend, we had something really cool happen. Of course, All-Star break happened, so that means we are now entering the second half of the 2023-2024 NHL season. And let's talk about what happened on All-Star weekend, because honestly, we can actually say that the NHL All-Star weekend is actually much more entertaining.
yeah, I'll be the first one to tell you it was great. I did see part of the All Star game, the All Star facilities. The game took place at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto.
Yep.
It was a wonderful experience seeing, but how they did it was that basically they have each division be like a team, had their own separate teams, except that I guess the players from each division do like a little draft and put their team together, and the rest of it's history. And then like for the All Star game itself, they said like a mini tournament.
Yeah, it's considering the fact you got 6 divisions across 2 conferences, it makes sense.
Actually, it's 4
Yeah.
divisions across 2 conferences, Jacob.
4 divisions? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 2 conferences and 4 divisions: Metro, Atlantic, Central, and Pacific.
Okay, that makes sense.
So also like we said, they broke off into teams. Connor McDavid had his team. Austin Matthews had his team. Someone from the Central had their team, and someone from the Atlantic had their team. And
Yep.
they said like a little mini tournament. And I guess what they did with the periods, It had like be games. First period be the first game. Second period be the second game. Third period be the championship.
Yep. And
So
honestly, it worked because the fans liked it because it worked.
yeah, I mean it definitely worked. I mean,
And of course, yeah, they had the other stuff as well. I mean, of course, you have the skills competition, hardest shot, and everything in between. You know.
and also there was some Canadians that was Canadian celebrities that was there in attendance. Justin Bieber was
Oh
there.
God.
Yeah. And
Next.
if I'm not mistaken, he actually helped in designing the sweaters for this year's All Star game.
So
And if
yeah.
all the sweaters, they're not bad.
And Ottawa native, and I kid you not, this is his name. Talk was doing the concert.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Keep it on native. Well, sort of.
Mhm. Well, it's sort of because he's from Ottawa and the game was in
Yeah,
Toronto. But
like
I think overall though, it was a good game. It was a good All Star game. You know, this was definitely better than the other.
the other one. Well,
We
Uh,
don't talk about that one.
yeah.
like,
So I think obviously this was a good. It was a good week for the NHL. Now it's time for us to head into Act 2 of the
yeah,
NHL season.
head to the big time because
Yeah,
now we're
we got 8 games on this one.
to the
Oh yeah.
second half of the NHL season, and this is where the fun begins because now we see who becomes a contender and who becomes a pretender.
I
And,
think the key
and
question has to be asked, gentlemen. I mean, this is where we are starting to separate the men from the boys.
and with how this season's been going,
Yes.
it's been tough to find out who's the man and who's the boys.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Let's go ahead and get to the schedule
Shall we?
tonight. First
Yeah,
of
we got
all,
a
we
big-
got hold on. We got surprise team number 1 traveling
Let's
to
start off.
Raleigh.
Let's start her off. Starting it off with the 7 o'clock game. Starting off in Boston at the TD Garden. The Flames of Calgary take the trip to Boston to take on the top team in the East, the Bruins, who are 31-9-9.
Absolutely. Like I said, surprise team number 1, the Vancouver Canucks. They're traveling to Raleigh, North Carolina to play against those Hurricanes.
Hold on. You gotta let Jacob do it. Then he claps on the floor and has a heart attack.
Yeah, that's never gonna get old. Also, we got the Dallas Stars traveling up to Buffalo to play against the Sabres.
Yeah, they'll be at the Marine Mill and Arena. I can't remember their current name now.
KeyBank
KeyBank
Center.
Center.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
That'll be
welcome.
all 7 o'clock. And rounding out the 7 o'clock games, my Winnipeg Jets will be heading over to PPG Paints Arena to take on the Penguins of Pittsburgh.
You forgot
Easy
one
too.
game, Jacob. We got the Philadelphia Flyers gonna play in Sunrise to play against the Florida Panthers.
Who are second
Dang, you
in the
missed-
by 4 points behind the Boston Bruins. And then rounding out the 7 o'clock games,
Yep.
in DC, the Capitals will be playing host to the Canadiens de Montreal.
The
Can I
Capital
take
One
this one here?
Arena,
Thank you.
Jacob.
Thank you.
Can I take this one next?
Go ahead.
Brandon, you and I are gonna like this one.
Yeah.
The Colorado Avalanche are traveling out to the Rock to take on the New Jersey Devils.
This
Well,
one has history because lest we forget, New Jersey and Colorado have a history together.
Absolutely. Fact of being, I think this is when Raymond Borg was playing for the Avalanche. He won his one and only cup.
Yes, and also New Jersey has a little bit of if I remember correctly, don't they have a little bit of a little rough spot against Colorado at one point in their time? Or was it Kansas City? I can't.
Well, oh yeah, you're right because the Devils, they started in Kansas City as the Scouts, and they went from Kansas City to Denver, where they became the Colorado Rockies, and then went from Colorado to New Jersey.
Oh yeah, because the owner at the time hated what's been going on in Denver and decided to go to New Jersey, became the Devils, and well, the rest is history.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now we got the hottest team on the ice.
Yeah,
We got the hottest team on the ice. They're gonna do battle.
Go ahead.
Like
Can
I
the
said,
hottest team in the NHL right now stay hot as as the Edmonton Oilers head to the Fortress to take on the Golden Knights of Vegas.
Yeah. I tell you what, these Oilers, they have won. I want to make sure I got the total right. They have won 16 games in a row.
16 straight.
16 straight. 16 straight and 16 straight and still in the 16 straight, and they are still, let's see, sixth in the Western Conference.
Mhm.
So here's my question for Edmonton. If you beat the reigning Stanley Cup champions, will this possibly propel them into a wildcard spot?
This could
Well,
We'll just see.
here's the
Engine for a
thing.
wildcard spot.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that.
Well, here's the thing. Well, here's the thing, Jose. Right now, they're the number 3 team in the Pacific Division, so they're in a playoff spot.
they are they are third in the Pacific, so they do hold the keys to their destiny in the Pacific Division. But win here tonight in the Fortress against the reigning champs could help them get a better slot in the playoffs.
Well, I think another thing to consider, because we know good well the Golden Knights, they're not going to roll over for anybody.
Especially as
No. Yeah, not rolled over for
So,
anybody.
and I'm pretty sure Vegas is thinking about trying to catch up with Vancouver in the Pacific Division.
as we take a look at the standings now, as we are now entering the second half of the NHL season. Vancouver still holds on to the top spot in the Western Conference, but barely, as Colorado is edging up to them by 3 points in the second spot, while Dallas is right behind Colorado by 2. Winnipeg right behind Dallas by 1. Vegas 1 point behind Winnipeg, and Edmonton just 5 points right behind Vegas.
Absolutely. And I think also to consider, as I brought up, on last week's episode, the way how the NHL does their playoffs, they do theirs divisional.
Yep.
So, like I said, right now, Edmonton has a playoff spot, but we still have a long way to go.
Yep. Also, we live in a world where Arizona have a much better record than Chicago. How?
You know what? I have no idea what to tell you. I have no idea what to say about that.
About this because, so there's been an article that came out to our desk a couple days ago. The Players Association for the NHL have agreed that they all agreed that this whole experiment in Arizona bites, and they all agreed that Arizona, if this whole stadium deal with Arizona with the Coyotes in Arizona doesn't go through, they need to move.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, here's the article was from last week of the from ESPN. Let me just read this real quick. It says the NHLPA executive director Marty Walsh believes the Arizona Coyotes should relocate if there isn't a suitable arena plan in place by the end of this season. If there's no plan in Arizona, I would encourage a move to another location. Absolutely.
But there is one problem to that, and I give the man who runs the Players Association credit, because he's the writing on the wall. This whole experiment in Arizona is in the shitter. But there's only one problem with that, and his name is Gary Bettman. He is as stubborn can be, and he will not let this experiment die.
Well, here's the thing. Speaking of Gary Bettman, he said that the Coyotes arena situation will be addressed in the next few weeks. Tick. As Marino, that's the owner of the Arizona Coyotes, is focused on one piece of property. Last August, Marino executed a letter of intent to purchase a parcel of land in Mesa to potentially build a new sports arena and entertainment district. Alex Marino told me as recently as last week that he was certain that he was going to get this done. I don't make it a practice of contradicting owners unless I have hard facts to the contrary, said Bettman last Friday. I'm both hopeful and reasonable reasonably confident that he's going to do what he says. Okay
Oh,
then.
bullshit.
Uh,
Who coughed here?
Yeah, he says, and I quote, "We have no formal expansion process set up. We'll listen to the expression of interest, and I think it's fair to say that this was talking about the Utah expansion bid. Utah expression of interest has been the most aggressive and has carried a lot of energy with it. Now, here's the thing.
About that, can I take the floor here for this one?
Go ahead, Jacob.
Here's the thing. Utah does not make the most sense because it does not work because the Pacific Division already has enough teams to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona is a Central Division team, and it has to stay the same for alignment. Okay, so if they do decide to relocate, and it could happen, there's only 2 cities that they're going to go to.
Well, hold on, Jacob, because technically it could work for Utah because before the NBA expanded with the three 6 divisions, Utah was in the Midwest division.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It
But
could work. Don't know if it can work. We just got to see what happens.
that is true. And I think also to consider, first of all, Gary Bettman, how much longer are we going to wait before you understand and realize that this is a mistake? This
Great,
is a very serious mistake.
a big mistake. God. Like I said, you've heard the phrase "stubborn as a mule." If you look that up in a dictionary, you'll see Gary Bettman.
Yeah, I think that's the
It's
thing
all
that you have
based
to
on the
consider.
freaking context.
Now,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and switch to baseball because I got some breaking news.
Ooh, I think I know what it is, but just
Mhm.
Oh,
remind me to
this is
break it down.
breaking news. This just came to our desk. Mind if I do this one because this is for me. This is for my team.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So check this out. This is breaking news. Houston calls one of their best players, Jose Altuve, Astro for life, and signs him to a 5-year, $125 million extension, keeping him with the Astros. Yeah. For H-Town, Altuve is staying with the Astros.
I have a breakdown of that contract. Mind if I go ahead and read that?
Go.
From multiple retorts, but let's break down this contract, shall we?
All right. He gets a $15 million signing bonus, a $30 million from 2025 to 2027, and $10 million from 2028 to 2029.
So basically, he is not getting the 125 up front. It is actually being broken down into multiple years throughout that 5-year extension, which is
Yes.
smart.
And speaking
Smart.
of extensions here,
Help open up the gap so that they can get some hopeful Astros organization. Because let's not forget
Absolutely.
the Astros were taken out, if I remember correctly, in the ALCS to the eventual World Series champions in the Texas Rangers.
that's
Mm.
right.
That was in 6, I think.
Yeah.
And here's
Yeah.
another extension news for you. Bobby Witt Jr.
And
He's-
it was an 11-year, and I'm trying to get the cost right.
11
Yeah.
years, nearly $289 million.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, keep the break. Yeah, and this is the richest deal in Royals franchise history. Nearly $300 million to keep Bobby Witt in Royal Blue.
Absolutely. And also let me add this because it includes a 3-year, $89 million team option that would drive the value to more than $377 million and keep Witt with the Royals through the 2037 season.
And people say the free agency won't give you big news. Ha!
Eesh. I mean, now,
I mean, there is no cap in baseball. These contracts are going to get disgusting soon.
Keep an eye out for the luxury tax. That's all I got to say. And,
Yeah.
100%.
Hey guys, check this out. We talked about last week about how some vandals decided to desecrate and destroy a Jackie Robinson statue in Wichita, Kansas at a local park. Well,
Yeah.
I actually have some news about this. Here's an update. The MLB and the clubs have decided to start a GoFundMe to actually replace the statue. And guess what? That GoFundMe went off like wildfire because it actually reached $150,000.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
Now, let me read this story because I got another story for you. Now, because I brought this up earlier. Fisher wants the A's in Las Vegas, and the Las Vegas mayor says, "I don't think so, John."
I mean, I do have to butt in here real quick, right? Because it makes sense for lots of like no, because this is the thing. You already have the Raiders. You already have a home team and a champion, mind you, a champion. Okay, the Raiders still haven't learned about that yet.
Well,
And the Golden Knights.
hold
Why
on,
in the
Jose.
world do you just want to pick up a broken team like the A's?
Well, hold on. Let me read the story. It says Las Vegas Mayor Karen Goodman isn't exactly extending a warm embrace to the Oakland Athletics, who plan to build a $1.5 billion stadium in her city. In fact, Ben Goodman said the team's stadium plan does not make sense, and that A's ownership should go back to the drawing board and pitch a new plan in the Bay Area. I personally think the A's have got to figure out a way to stay in Oakland to make their dream come true. Goodman told the Front Office Sports Today podcast, which was released Tuesday. Goodman took to social media later Tuesday to add context to her comments, saying she was excited about the prospect of Major League Baseball in her city, though she didn't back off her statement that Oakland and the A's should try to make their relationship work in a perfect world. She added, should that fail, Las Vegas has shown that it is a spectacular market for Major League Sports franchise. Let me say this real quick, Jacob, before you start.
Go ahead.
Now, here's the thing, and this is why I'm looking right dead at Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball. Do you really want to be baseball's equivalent of the Arizona Coyotes?
Do you really want?
Here's the thing. I think here's the thing to consider because, well, I kind of understand where she's coming from because Las Vegas already put the bill for Allegiant Stadium. They've already put the bill for that one. They're still paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're asking them to pay some more for the A's new stadium, and at some point, you have to. This is getting frustrating to me. At some point, John Fisher needs to cough up some money and build the stadium. If he wants the team in Las Vegas, you build the stadium.
You want a team in Vegas? You front the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, you decide. Until
at least
you go to the you go back. Let me go. Let me cook here. Until then,
go ahead.
Let me cook here. Until then, I suggest you go back to the city of Oakland, you get on your damn knees and beg for Oakland to give you to have your team back, because guess what? You burned that bridge when you decided to dig your heels on not help fronting the bill to build a new stadium, because Oakland wanted your team. They did it on multiple times to give you a new stadium, but you said no. Okay, because you wanted Oakland to front most of the bill, and they said no because that would hurt the economy. Okay, so your stupid ass made the mistake. So I suggest
Jacob. You don't want to get into politics.
Sorry, your stupid ass, and you start begging. Okay, because Las Vegas won't do it, so you're on your own.
But let me say something real quick. And I think another thing to consider about Oakland, because this is their last season playing at the Oakland Coliseum.
Mm-hmm.
No one has any idea what's going to happen when this season's over, where the A's are going to play. Because you know, and I know good and well that a stadium doesn't get built up in a hurry.
No.
And so you got to find some place for the A's to play until that stadium is built. these fans, they're fed up. They've already saw the Raiders pack up and leave, and the Raiders had to play like 2, 3 lame duck seasons while waiting for the stadium in Las Vegas to be built. Do
And
you
they,
honestly think
oh,
in your heart and soul, do you honestly think that these same fans are gonna have the same patience for you, especially after you basically insulted their intelligence and
I
basically
can
just, you know,
I can I can imagine the whole city of Oakland, even like the mayor and all that shit, are go looking for the Oakland A's owner's house or something like that, and with like fucking pitchforks and like nooses and shit, like a
no,
whole fucking lynch
nah,
mob for him.
they won't go that far. Maybe
Not
no.
yet.
Anything, I would see them if they ever do decide to go to an Oakland A's game. Whatever, they would just turn their backs. They won't even look at their team.
yeah, I think the question has to be asked right now if John Fisher even had the guts to show up at one of
No,
the
he
A's
will.
games.
He will, but he'll have like extra security. You get me?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
You
get
know
you.
they want his head on a pike.
like he's like three layers of security just to protect his ass, and while his fans are throwing
Yeah.
trash, drinks at him. But
Oh,
yeah,
Don't throw more than trash. I'm gonna put it that way. If they're vindictive, you
Yeah.
know that's just how
Bob,
humans are.
yes, but yeah, okay. Before we get into our really big tirade, let's move on because we do have some big news. Let's go international for a little bit because we do have some big news in the FIFA front.
Mm-hmm.
2026 World Cup is coming to the U.S. It is confirmed, and we do have the location, and we do have some big news, some real big news, because we can say this: MetLife Stadium will be hosting the finals of the World Cup, while Mexico will open it up, but with one condition for MetLife Stadium, and it's a big one. That all the games for the U.S. in the World Cup, I can only work if you get rid of artificial turf and put in natural grass. That's it.
Absolutely.
I
Because
love this idea. I love this idea.
yeah,
I
here's the
really do
thing.
love this.
Yeah, here's the thing because the game's gonna take place in 2026. In fact, the World Cup final is at MetLife Stadium.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess obviously they couldn't work out a deal with Stan Kroenke, or not too sure. But here's the thing.
Stan Cookie just shut up. No.
Well, I think here's the thing because all the fields as you guys brought up, from Los Angeles to the Bay Area to Seattle, over to Kansas City to Miami to Philadelphia to Dallas to
Every
MetLife. All the fields have to be grass.
Yep. No artificial anything. It has to be natural grass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now,
If it doesn't work that way, you can kiss your FIFA dates goodbye.
also let's bring up that the two cities in Canada is going to be Vancouver and Toronto.
And guess what? They already know about this because they play MLS games and they don't have artificial anything. They go natural.
Absolutely. Now for Toronto, my guess is they're going to use the are they going to use Rogers Center or are they going to use BMO Field? You know, the field for FC Toronto.
Probably BMO Field. It makes the most sense because I don't know if they could use the Rogers Center, but we'll have to see. But Mexico is easier because they got
the Rogers Center would be interesting.
Yeah, true. But for Mexico, it's a much different story because it works. Because Mexico has got hundreds of stadiums that already work with natural grass. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now I believe their locations. I'll make sure I got it straight. Another thing that they're going to do one in Mexico City.
No, because of the elevation. You know, you try playing a game that high.
Good point. I know somewhere in Guadalajara.
I think one in Tijuana.
Mm-mm.
Probably. I can't confirm nor deny. Hold on. Actually, I can't. Let me look this up because I am on Yahoo Sports. Let me take a look at the locations.
Mm-hmm.
Go for Google.
Schedule. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Give me Mexico because I need Mexico. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. Here we go. Okay. No. Okay. So yeah, Canada will have Toronto and twice in Vancouver. Oh, this is not going to be good. So for Mexico, they are going to be playing in Guadalajara, but they are going to be doing it in Mexico City.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh
good luck
boy.
at altitude because you're going to need the oxygen masks.
Yep.
Hope you got some. Hope,
High, you're going to be heavy breathing, and not just because you're playing hard. That high oxygen is about as thin as paper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
we're as thin as our patients.
or funny, but still, it is very much a health hazard because it's like what, like 16,000, like almost 16,000 feet high above sea level.
Mm-hmm.
What's the stadium called so I can look it up?
The hold on, let me look. Mexico City, oh, there you go, Estadio Azteca. Yeah,
That stadium should sound familiar because the NFL played a couple games from time to time way back when.
yeah.
Yep.
And so, but like we said, we got a long way to go between now and 2026.
Azteca Stadium Azteca is 7,200 feet above sea level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but still that high above sea level, you're basically dealing with very thin oxygen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then
How
let's
do
go
you tell
ahead.
the dinner gets?
And now, before we get to the meat and potatoes, we do need to talk about this because this is some big news. We can now officially say this. The what's known as the United Football League has just released their schedules for the 18s for their inaugural season heading into 2024.
Absolutely.
Is it still considered? Hold on a second. I want to say, does the UFL still considered crazy or gridiron?
Well, you can put whatever you want, but I think with the
I'll
with
leave
the
it.
schedule,
I'll leave it at crazy or gridiron and call it a day.
yeah. But I think also to consider, because we know the season gets underway with the battle of the champs.
Yep, the battle XFL and USFL champions will kick off the UFL season. And here's how the season's going to work. All five channels will have a game. ABC, Fox, ESPN, ESPN2, and FS1 will have games. But unfortunately, it's how they're spread out that's going to be confusing because ESPN2 and FS1 will only have one game. Meanwhile, ESPN and ABC will take the rest. And Fox will share 10 games, while Fox will have the majority at 21. So I got the Fox Sports app. You're good. You're good. Okay. Yeah. You got a digital antenna. You're kind of SOL.
Yeah. Also, Jose,
Yes.
check your spelling.
You
Fuck.
But here's the thing. In fact, this is the opening games which we're going to see on that last weekend in March.
Yep.
We got the Renegades and the Stallions and the Renegades. They're gonna do battle in Arlington. That game's gonna be on Fox.
Yeah, that'll be the Battle of the Champions at 1:00, and then at 4:00 on Fox, we will see the Michigan Panthers take on the St. Louis Battlehawks.
If y'all get confused, I don't blame you.
That game's gonna be at Ford Field. Also, we got the DC Defenders. Yeah, we got the DC Defenders. They're gonna play against the San Antonio Brahmas. Over at the Alamo Dome.
Yeah, this is where we're starting to going into our divisions now, and that'll be on Sunday. And then rounding out week one on the USFL side. Before you get confused, we will explain. The Memphis Showboats will be heading over to Rice Stadium to take on the Roughnecks of Houston. Now, to explain, the reason why the Roughnecks are in the USFL division is because both Houston teams have merged. So the Houston Gamblers and the Roughnecks have merged. So the Roughnecks can work in the USFL division because of the merger.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, they're taking the Gamblers' place.
Yes. So
let me also bring this up that the reason why the Roughnecks are at Rice Stadium is because the University of Houston is busy renovating their stadium.
and it still works because Rice is still technically in the Houston area.
Mm-hmm.
So it still works because Rice is like half a half an hour drive away from Houston.
Absolutely.
So it's still
And
so it still works. It's just that even though the stadium is not named after Houston, it is still in the city of Houston.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
also, let's also bring up that the Battlehawks are gonna be at the Dome at America Center. At least St. Louis is getting a football. It still keep their football team areas they cheer for.
Yeah, like we should call it as one of the nicknames they had when it got first built up. Let's call it the Battle Dome because it makes
Mhm. Absolutely. Also, we know that Birmingham is at Protective Stadium, the same stadium that UAB plays at.
it makes stadium. I thought they were going to be at the Legion Bowl, but you know what? That makes sense.
hmm Of course, the defenders gonna be at Artie Field because
Makes perfect
nobody wants to play at FedEx Field.
sense. But honestly, it makes
I don't
sense
blame 'em.
because it makes sense because a lot of these teams are doing what we thought they were going to do. They're playing at stadiums that works because small stadiums, some college stadiums, all
Mhm.
one exception, of course, that being a few exceptions, that being, of course, San Antonio and Michigan, because Michigan, you can't. I don't see the Panthers selling out Ann Arbor Stadium, Ann Arbor Stadium.
No.
Or Bank of America.
Also, now the Showboats they're playing at the Liberty Stadium.
Liberty Bowl,
Mhm.
legendary spot in of itself. So they got a little advantage to themselves with history.
And not to mention the fact that I seem to remember way back when the then Tennessee Oilers played their last game of the regular season against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was a sellout crowd, but
So
the majority of them were Steelers fans. So
yeah. There's actually a story behind that, and NFL Explained talked about it. The reason why Memphis hated the Tennessee Oilers was simple. Tennessee wasn't going to stay in Memphis. They were going to Nashville.
mhm. And that plus the fact that Memphis won an NFL team of their own.
Yeah, and
So that-
going to get it with the Oilers. But when they found out that Bud Adams was going to Nashville, they got pissed.
yeah.
And the best way for them to vent their anger, don't show up.
Or show up, but be in Steelers gear.
Yeah, that'll stick at the Bud Adams.
Now then, let's go ahead and shift this aside. By the way, you can see all these games in which Jose had posted. You can catch it. You can see the schedule on Twitter on their
Yeah,
Twitter page.
all their
Yep. And if this grid is confusing, I'm sorry.
all the on their official UFL Twitter, and you got confused. All 8 teams have actually posted their schedules on there. So if you want to find a team that you want to root for, all 8 teams have their own individual Twitters. My Houston Roughnecks. I am, of course, a Roughnecks fan. Drill the rig. You can actually follow their Twitters because they actually have their own schedules there. So if you want to find a team you want to root for, there you go.
Absolutely. Now then,
So basically, you don't have to. So basically, if you're going to be sad about what's coming up, don't worry. You will have your football fix.
absolutely.
But anyways, it is now time to get to the meat and potatoes because, well, last Sunday was something did happen that a lot of us didn't want to see. It was sad.
Yeah. This past weekend, people saw the Pro Bowl games, and now throughout this entire weekend, they played various competitions. They
Great.
playing around the golf. They did dodgeball. I was saying to myself, boy, they must really want to get folks interested in seeing these games. And then, of course, you got the Pro Bowl itself, which is actually a flag football game. And I just, you know what, I'm just gonna say it. Just end it. If nobody's gonna give a damn to go out and go play, just end it.
You know, the Chisel of Donna said it best. What we saw, the Pro Bowl needs to go because not only did the game sucks, the selection committee sucked because You had legit good players who was not going to the big game. And you didn't choose them to be a part of it. You choose someone else.
Or Jacob, they did choose them, and they just decided not to go.
Yeah. So basically,
I don't blame them
Roger
because they're
Goodell,
like, what's the
if
point?
you decided to do your one good deed in your life, do us all a favor. Just shut down the Pro Bowl. Because honestly, the NBA, the NHL, hell, even Major League Baseball does All Star Weekend a lot better than what you're doing with the NFL.
Hmm. And
Okay,
I think that obviously,
they
let me
give it,
just
and we actually can enjoy it.
hmm let me just say this because I think the NFC beat the AFC in the Pro Bowl game.
Yeah,
Uh, like I
we
said, I just don't care. But
would
the
be.
thing of it is that the NFL, okay, I get it. I understand you want to make this a flag football game because you want to highlight safety. You also want to encourage young people to go play football. Okay, I understand. I get it. I totally get it. But you're also running away a whole lot of folks that love the sport. Just saying. But it's just a very serious head scratcher to me.
All
Now,
is diluting your dam of legitimacy.
I tell
Right?
you what, if
Darn it.
you want to make it an 18 game season, just tell the players, hey, we'll get rid of the Pro Bowl. If you let us do an 18 game season, we'll get rid of the Pro Bowl. Simple as that. But
If
what can you do?
you get rid of the Pro Bowl, if you give us another bye week, okay,
Hmm.
just give us that, and you can keep your 18-game season.
Yeah. Not that that's really something to consider. Now then, we do have a hire to announce. Dan Quinn is the new head coach of the Washington Commanders.
And we can, and also another thing to talk about. We also got some other signings that's been going on in the off season. One of which I know a certain Brit is kind of happy about. If I remember correctly, where is it? Because I know I saw it for the Seahawks. Where is it honestly? Because I know I saw it.
Are you referring to Jay Harbaugh?
No, Jay Harbaugh is going to L.A.
No, he's going to Seattle.
Oh, Jay's going to Seattle.
Uh huh.
Oh, congratulations to him. Yeah. So Jay Harbaugh is being signed with the Seahawks. Yeah, and also this is actually coming some news from for the Raiders. New now permanent head coach Antonio Pierce is actually praising Luke Getsy in the opening press conference as their offensive coordinator since he's been ousted from Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Now, I tell you who's also ousted when Dan Quinn got hired as the head coach of the Commanders. Eric Bellamy is out.
Yep.
And I do believe I'm gonna make sure I got this story right because Ben McAdoo is going to New England.
Yep. Ben McAdoo is going to New England. Is he, if I remember correctly, defensive coordinator or special teams?
I think he's on the offensive side of the ball. Let me check. Yeah, he's going to. Yeah, I think he's going to be working on the offensive side of the ball. He's going to be working with the offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt.
Oh, okay.
So he'll be mostly he's going to be probably working with the QBs.
Oh, I also got some news here. I think Cody might want to hear this. So, Jim Irsay, let's talk about this. So last time we talked about Indiana's favorite coach, heavy air quotes there.
What? What the fuck?
Unfortunately, he had a bit of a health scare.
Mm-hmm.
And just a couple hours ago, he made a statement on social media that he says, and I quote, he is on the mend.
Oh.
Yeah. This is coming from Pro Football Talk on NBC Sports. Yeah, he says he's great for all the messages of Lawson's support. he announced that he has been having severe respiratory illness later in January from TMZ. Yeah, he says that he is continuing to recover and that he's on the mend, but he has nothing else to report.
Hmm.
Honestly, I feel like this should be a better idea for Ursay himself. Just step down. Take care of yourself, and if you feel like that you're gonna be
Yeah,
going to the upper room,
yeah, because
at least spend
he's
more
at
time with your
six,
family before you
yeah,
go.
yeah, he is 64, and he has had some public issues during the fact that he's been dealing with both the bottle and the pills. So
So maybe perhaps probably might be time to sell out some of his share in the
and
Colts.
yeah, because he's been also dealing with the fact that since '97 he's been dealing with the fact about when his father Bob, kicked the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say it's what 17 years. Yeah, some folks you can't get over when your when one of your parents goes home to be with the Lord. You
yeah,
know.
it's one thing, but using drugs and alcohol to try to get over it, no.
Now, let me also bring this up. We have the former Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator Joe Barry is going to be on the Miami Dolphins coaching staff.
Hmm.
And he's going to be coaching the linebackers.
A lot. So he's going to be the linebacker coach for the Dolphins.
So that's very, very, very interesting hire. This is going to be the first season in a long time we won't see Bill Belichick walking up and down the sidelines. We ain't gonna see the hoodie. Although his son has gone out to the University of Washington.
Oh, that's good. Man, we are truly in a new era. That the
Absolutely.
hoodie
I
is no longer
mean,
on the sidelines.
yeah, no Bill Belichick and no Pete Carroll.
Man, we are truly in a new era here in the National Football League. But before we can get to it, we got to end up this weird ass season, to say the least, because we got one game left, and it's this Sunday.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
All of
Super Bowl 50.
ladies and gentlemen, America, do us a favor. Don't watch this.
Yeah,
Just don't.
because honestly, who do you cheer for? Do you want to cheer
Can't
for
both
the
of
Chiefs
them lose?
going for their fourth title and giving Master Chief his third, or do you want to go for San Francisco?
And win your first Super Bowl since Steve Young.
Steve Young and giving the sixth championship.
I don't care, honestly.
I think
I
that
think it's the off-season already.
let me just say this: the game is going to be somewhat interesting, so to speak. Most people would say that, or most people would say that the 49ers are the underdogs, or most people would say that no, the Chiefs are the underdogs. And
Chiefs are not the underdogs. Underdogs, my ass. They're trying to become the next Tom Brady.
Cody's actually making a lot of sense because I'm actually looking at the odds set up by BetMGM, and from what I'm seeing, the Chiefs are no underdogs. They're the heavy favorites by a
Yeah,
mile.
they are.
By a mile, because if you bet on the Chiefs, you might be getting out a lot of cash because they got the 110 odds right now, plus, and the Niners got negative 130 odds on the money line.
yeah,
And the 49ers have been having a rough going in Super Bowl practice because guess what? The Chiefs got the Las Vegas Raiders practice play. And, well, the 49ers got the short end of the fucking stick.
well, here's the thing, because I guess technically the Chiefs gonna be the home team in the Super Bowl. So I guess, and what's
Right.
happening is the 49ers are practicing at UNLV's practice field, which isn't mounted up to a hill of beans. But
And they've been complaining that that's not good. I
but they're
can't
still
believe
Hopefully, there's no
practicing
bees
on
over
it.
there.
Yeah, but again, like Carter said, it doesn't matter to a hill. But yeah, and and as you said, it could be interesting, but I don't know for sure because Vegas is saying that the spread it's tight, real tight.
Now,
It's
most
2.
people, you know what? I'm just gonna say it because number one, most people would watch the Super Bowl, for the game. Me, I'm just gonna watch it for the commercials.
Yeah,
You know, I just want to watch and see what crazy stuff they're gonna do with
Let's see
these
how. Let's
commercials.
see.
Now, now,
Let's see how
guys,
these
I don't
big
know if
companies
y'all
throw millions
heard.
of dollars that they let's see how dumb these commercials are when these big companies
yeah,
throw millions
right.
of dollars at the TV. See what
Crazy.
happens.
You know how much money advertisers put just to have a commercial in the Super Bowl?
Like $1 million.
You're in that area. They actually put up, in average, up to 6-figure deals just to have a 30-second ad.
Eesh. Go ahead, what you was
Wait,
about
hold
to
on.
say, Brandon.
So I don't know if you guys picked up about the New York Giants, but
I wish I didn't.
Uh,
they officially hired a defensive coordinator.
yeah, finally.
What's his name?
It is
Give it a
Shane Bowen.
Who the fuck?
Shane Bowen.
Shane Bowen. All right.
Oh
He was-
shit! He was a former Titans DC.
Exactly.
Interesting hire. Now, like I said, and also with the Super Bowl coming up, it's going to be on both CBS and Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And
Nickelodeon is
Kids are gonna be exposed to this hell.
And also, from what I've heard,
Change the channel for the love of God, please.
so from what I've heard, Nickelodeon is going to try to do this thing again, like they did back when they did Super Bowl, when they did the Super Bowl back at SoFi. They're going to try to do Sweet Victory again.
No, no, no. You wanna know why it
well,
wasn't
Jose,
bad
you
from the
really,
first
really
one?
hate this game, do you?
I just don't want it shown to the millions out there.
Ace.
You know
But-
something? If Jose has his way, Super Bowl's going to be 0.
Yeah, we might actually
Yeah, which will happen.
see the record for lowest ratings in the Super Bowl era be broken.
Yeah.
So good luck. But before we close off, I'm actually going to take a look at something because now that we know that the regular season is done, dusted, and dead.
well, here's the. Did we ever talk about this yet? The new streaming deal.
Oh yeah,
Or
we
no?
did. Yeah, we did do it. Well, before we get to that, before we get to that, we need to talk. We needed. We can't say this. Coming up.
Jacob's malfunctioning. Hold on, let's fix up that coding of his.
He has the.
Don't need to talk about this because this is actually some news. I'm keeping my ears to the ground on the upcoming draft for the 2024 NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming from Nate Tice off of Yahoo Sports. And here's how he sees what the draft is going to entail.
Bears finally drafting a quarterback for once.
Hold on, I want to hear this. Go ahead, Jacob.
As I was stating, since Chicago has the number 1 pick thanks to Carolina's gaff, they're going to draft Drake May, quarterback from the University of North Carolina.
Finally, I was correct on something.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Let's talk about this.
Remember,
I want to think about this.
the mock draft. This is not
This is a mock draft. I thought so.
This is the mock draft. It's not final until we get to night of.
Well, let me just say this real quick.
If the Bears get rid of their QB, I would be happy because holy fuck, they fucked that person over.
Well, here's the thing, and let me just say this real quick because we're worried about the draft because the draft is in April, right?
I believe so.
And I think that
April 25th.
Yeah, we'll let them finish the season. At least let them finish the season first. Before we dive into the mock draft, because I'm really curious to see how Chicago is going to handle Are they
But
going to keep
but
Justin Fields or are they going to trade him?
but yeah. But before we round out the show, we do have some big news to talk about, and Cody did talk
Mhm.
about this. We had some news come up to our dockets before we went on the air. Apparently, the big three, three of the big four in the sports world, ESPN, Time Warner, the Warner Brothers, and Fox have all agreed on actually creating a multi-branded for streaming service for their sports channels.
Mhm.
Meaning that
But
if it goes through, that ESPN, Fox Sports, and TNT will have all their sports channels under one unified brand, one
yep,
unified.
and so it's possible that if this deal goes through, the following sports networks that are included, which I will list off right now: ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN University TV, the SEC network, the ACC network, ESPN News.
Wait a minute. This is just the streaming.
So that means
Yeah,
Uh,
that
yeah,
that
it's a shame. This is the
Fox,
sports networks including
that means that Fox Sports, ESPN Plus, TNT, um,
CBS, BTN, FS1, FS2, Fox, ABC, and True TV.
yeah,
let's just cut it short. Just say ESPN and their properties, Fox Sport and their properties, and TNT and their properties.
yeah, all their
A little bit more
properties will be
funner if I listed them off.
banner.
And I think
Got to make
that
more
first
sense
of
somehow.
all, hold on, because I think that this is good. This is good because number one, I think even they realize that folks are cutting the cord. Nobody's paying for cable anymore.
Or exactly.
Uh, so I think this is a good deal streaming wise. I don't know what this does to ESPN Plus or to Max, but I think this is a good deal. We'll have to wait for the details to figure out how deep this is going to be. So we'll have to wait for the details, but pretty sure the details will be coming. And also keep this in mind, this is also on the same heels of Amazon getting a minority share in Diamond Sports and Ballet Sports, and Amazon is going to start streaming Ballet Sports on Amazon Prime soon. So, like we said, this is a new era because I think finally these sports networks are beginning to realize that folks are cutting the cord. Nobody is going to pay that much money for cable anymore.
And me and one of our friends, Garak, talked about it. If this goes through and the prices are affordable, everybody and their mother is going to be jumping on that like hotcakes. Meaning
Absolutely.
meaning that they're going to get a huge influx of fans, new and old,
Mm-hmm.
coming in to watch great sports from all across the country, whether it's NHL, NFL, MLB, and everything in between, at a good price, so that they a good price and won't have to worry about not being able to watch games or blackouts or any of that BS.
Absolutely. And you know something, Jacob? This is really interesting considering that in January, WWE's Monday Night Raw is going to Netflix.
Yeah,
So,
Still
January of
doesn't
next
make
year,
sense.
we're going to be streaming Monday Night Raw ad free.
hmm so that is really, really something to consider. Like I said, this is the future. And these these companies are now opening their eyes and realizing, hey, this streaming is not so bad after all.
Streaming
Uh,
service, it's the future, man.
hmm Yeah, we need to get in there. We need to get in there and throw in our 2 cents. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say this real quick before I turn the floor over to Jacob to close us out. I just want to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedule to joining us on this special Tuesday edition of our podcast. Don't worry, this ain't gonna be a regular thing. We'll
No,
be
no.
right back on Wednesday next week. I hope.
Gotta go
Um,
praise it loud.
Let me just say this real quick. If you like what you see, first of all, please, by all means, please subscribe to our channel. Secondly, like this video. And third, when you do subscribe to our channel, hit the bell so that you will be notified whenever we stream. One wish those of you who's watching the Super Bowl, I hope you enjoyed the game.
His bell's not.
You know what? I probably watched the Nickelodeon version just for the heck of it.
And his bell's not working.
You're
Why is
sick.
Yeah, so just for the heck of it. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Jacob, take us home.
Okay, anyways. Well, nonetheless, I have to say, this has been a very, very good episode of the VW Sports Podcast. And what a way to get us into the 110s. 111 episodes of the VW Sports Podcast. We're still rocking and rolling. And honestly, we're going to keep this going. We're not even stopping. We haven't even hit our stride. Because we're in the month of February, and the sports world keeps lighting this up with amazement with amazement announcements and bombshells, and we're going to keep this going until we say we don't want to. And it's safe to say we're enjoying our time here on YouTube, and we love it because we're getting great fans who love this stuff. And that's the thing about this bar. Like we said when we created this is a show made by fans for fans, with the assumption with fans, because we want to hear from you guys. Like you said, give us a like on the video and subscribe to the VW Sports channel. And if you like if you want to be notified for when we go live, please hit that little bell so that you can be notified when we go live next week. We promise you, we will be back on our regularly scheduled time slot at Wednesday, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, as always. And I promise you, the sports world will never stop because we are always got our ears to the ground. We are always keeping up to date on what's been going on with the sports world, whether it's the madness that is college basketball, both of the men and the women, free agency in Major League Baseball, the second half of NHL, the All-Star weekend of the NBA coming up, the UFL ready to kick off its season, and of course, coming up this Sunday, it's the game that not a lot of us is prepared for. Not a lot of us is going to be wanting to watch, and that is the Super Bowl. So, safe to say, we're going to have a lot to talk about coming up next week. So I suggest you come on back next Wednesday to tune in and see what we got to talk about. But until then, we got to go. For myself, for Carter, for Jose, for Brandon, and for Cody, we thank you all so much for tuning in to the podcast, and we will see you guys next week as we talk about the aftermath of Super Bowl 58 and everything else in the sports world. Until then, y'all have yourselves a good night, and y'all stay safe, everybody.
Take care, everybody.